Hello everybody, my name is Nicole Hoenselaar and I'm a parenting coach and a toddler behaviorist. I've spent the last 20 years in toddler development, and I have an honors degree in psychology, and I'm a mom of 3 daughters. I believe in a strong bond between parent and child, and that this strong bond enables you to discipline children more effectively. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries, how to establish boundaries, how to stick to the boundaries that you've already have in place, and I hope that you find it informative and useful. The first thing that I need to clarify is that when I talk about saying no, or seeing through the no, sticking to the no, too many no's, what I mean is boundaries. So unfortunately, our children need to learn to accept that sometimes the answer in the world is going to be no. And that is our responsibility as parents, to teach them that the answer to everything can't possibly be yes, sure. And we need to teach them that these boundaries are essential. So when I say saying no, sticking to your no, too many no's, what I mean is boundaries. Sticking to your boundaries, establishing boundaries, and having too many boundaries. Right, that said, all caregivers need to be on the same page in terms of disciplining a toddler. So yourself, your co-parent, grandparents, anyone else who is looking after your toddler or helping you with your toddler, you all need to have the same discipline strategy. And you all need to be on the same page in terms of how you approach discipline, what you allow, what you don't allow, and how you see through the discipline. You know, how when a boundary's been breached, the response to that breach. Right, so that said, your boundaries are yours. What's important in your home and what's important in your neighbor's home is not necessarily the same thing. So for example, if you have a boundary of no sleeping in your bed, you do not co-sleep, you don't like it for whatever reason, your partner doesn't like it, that's your boundary, and it's your boundary to enforce. That's the beauty of boundaries, is that everyone has boundaries, their own boundaries, and the boundaries that you choose to enforce are the ones that you value, and what you let slide are the boundaries that you don't find useful or valuable in your family, in your setup, in terms of what you want for your children going forward. So I basically think that there are 3 rules when it comes to setting boundaries. I think too many rules make it too difficult to follow and too difficult to see through the process. So the 3 rules that I have go like this. It's okay to say no to your children. Once you have said no, you need to stick to your no, so there needs to be consistency. And thirdly, too much no becomes powerless. So let's take a look at those 3 elements. It's okay to say no to your children, and it really is. As I said earlier, in life, the answer is not always yes. So your children need to learn, your toddlers need to learn to take no as an answer, and it's your responsibility to teach them that. Your responsibility is not to keep them happy all the time. Your responsibility is to be consistent. And if that means that occasionally you say no, then so be it. You need to learn to say no. If you are struggling to set that boundary, to say no to your children, it's maybe something that you need to talk to your co-parent about and address it when necessary. Then we need to stick to the no. Consistency is essential. We know that children thrive in a consistent environment. So wherever there's consistency, children know what to expect. It creates a safe environment for them. Within this environment, they know how to behave. There are consequences for if they misbehave. There are consequences for if they attempt to breach the boundary that you've established. But there always needs to be consistency. And I think this is one that parents struggle with a lot. A lot of parents find it very easy to say no, but once they've said no, well, now that they face some resistance from their toddler, and then they're not actually sure how to deal with the resistance, because they're now doubting their decision, wondering if saying no was the right thing to do, dealing with the fallout of an angry toddler, an upset toddler, a sad toddler. And so then we as parents are inclined to renege on that decision, to decide, okay, maybe we should go back on our decision and change our minds. And that's where our children, our toddlers, start to become very, very confused. They're never sure what's happening. They're never sure what to expect. They're never sure, what's mommy going to do today? What's daddy going to do today? And a typical example of this would be when you have gone to the shops and your toddler picks up something off the shelf, a toy, a snack, whatever it is, and they are desperate to have this thing, and you say no. And what follows, and we've all been there, is this huge meltdown. They're sad, they cry, they wail, they moan, they whine. And 9 times out of 10, you're feeling pressure. The other shoppers in the shops are watching you. They're looking all around. And you think, let's just buy it. Okay, you can have this thing. You can have this snack, this chocolate, this toy boat, this dolly, whatever the case may be. And at that exact point, all you have taught your children, or all you have taught your child, is that if I nag and whine sufficiently, I will get what I want. Remember, whatever we reward is what will be repeated. I'm going to say that again. Whatever we reward is what will be repeated. So let's just go through this again. We got to the shops. The toddler wanted a snack. Mommy said no. The toddler threw a huge temper tantrum. Mommy said yes. The toddler got the snack. What we taught the toddler, what we rewarded the toddler with, was the snack. So all they needed to do to get the snack was to perform sufficiently, to moan, to whine, to cry. And that's a very dangerous place, because we don't want our children to constantly be crying and moaning and whining when we've said no. We need them to accept that our no is no, and the only way for that to happen is for us to consistently enforce the no. And I'm not for 1 minute saying, don't buy your child a snack, don't buy your child a toy. But if you've said no on that particular day, you need to be consistent with your no. You need to stick with it, because you've made a decision now. So let's go on to parents who say no all the time. And I'm sure we all know those parents who constantly say no, 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 but they don't follow through. So it's so easy to say, no, cannot, no, cannot, please mommy, cannot, no, mama, I know. We don't want to do that either. Too much no becomes powerless, and our children very quickly learn that we don't mean no. We mean try a little harder. Challenge accepted, they're thinking to themselves. Mommy didn't really mean no, I just need to keep going and mommy will say yes. So we know parents who don't take action, they consistently say no, and their children walk right over them, and those parents are the ones who are using the no far too often and without any consequence. So if we consider that we need to take action as parents, then if a verbal instruction that you've given to your child is not sufficient, it is perfectly okay to physically remove them from the situation. So we were in the shops, you asked for a snack, I said no, you threw a temper tantrum, I can pick you up, hold you close to me, and we leave the shops. We go to a neutral environment, we leave the situation that has created the conflict. And very often that is sufficient to dissolve the situation, because now the thing they wanted, the sweet, the snack, the toy, is no longer in their view, and they very quickly forget about it. It's okay to physically remove your child from the tense situation, and then to distract them. So you may decide they can't have a chocolate, but they can have a healthy snack, an apple, a banana, whatever your story is. You don't want to buy them this huge expensive toy, but you're happy to buy them something smaller. So those are my 2 strategies in terms of diffusing the situation, is to either remove them from the situation where you have this highly charged thing going on, or to distract them with something else. That's probably a fairly decent way to deal with either. There are going to be children who are not distracted, who don't forget, and And that's okay. They can sit in their sadness for a little while. After all, they have been denied something that they desperately wanted. So they can sit in their sadness, and it won't take long before they bounce back. We definitely don't want to be in a position where we constantly trying to appease them. Mommy will get you this, just be happy, just be happy. They can sit in their sadness a little, and they'll bounce back quite quickly if you've denied them something that, and you've stuck to your no. And the more you do it, the easier it will get. So every time we go to the shops, I decline your request for a sweet, but I offer you a banana. Very quickly you will learn that a banana is what you have when we go shopping. So the next thing to discuss is, when do you say no? If we as parents know that saying no too often is detrimental and powerless, then when is the right time to say no? When is the right time to enforce that boundary and to hold that boundary? And I just think there are two instances where no is absolutely essential. The one is in a situation where things are dangerous, and the second one is in a situation where your child or your toddler is being inconsiderate to other people. So, for example, if your toddler is jumping on the trampoline with a lollipop in their mouth, to me that's a huge no-no. I don't allow it, and it would cause me to straight away take action. I would climb onto the trampoline, either take the lollipop out of the child's mouth or take the child off the trampoline, but that is something that I definitely wouldn't allow. So straight away it would be a no. Another example would be running in the parking lot. There's no way you can run in the parking lot. You have to hold my hand. Playing with the electric socket. If you're visiting and family members don't have the safety covers, definitely, though it's obvious that you're not going to allow those things to happen, and your no needs to be swift, and very often it needs to be followed up with some kind of physical response, because just saying no, don't run in the traffic is not sufficient. You need to actually restrain them, hold them back from running in the traffic, stop them from jumping on the trampoline with the lollipop, stop them from putting their finger in the electric socket. So those situations, no, it's pretty obvious to me that you have to just follow through quite quickly. The second thing is when they're being inconsiderate to other people, and things that come to mind now here are jumping on family member's couch. A granny who's got a beautiful new couch, not even if it's a new couch, a granny who doesn't want children, a granny who's got a couch that she doesn't want children to jump on. Unpacking the shelves in the shops, and I've actually seen that, where a toddler sits and unpacks the shelves in the shop, and someone has to repack those shelves. It's inconsiderate to others, and we should not be allowing our children to do that. And once again, in this situation where we're jumping on Granny's couch, I give a verbal instruction. We may not jump on Granny's couch, and if it's not sufficient, it is okay to physically remove you from the couch, take you off the couch, and then either remove you to another location where the environment is not so charged, or distract you with something else. You may not jump on Granny's couch, but you may jump on the trampoline. You may not jump on Granny's couch, but come and build a puzzle, have a juice, whatever the case may be. So remove them from the situation and distract them with something else. Always works really, really well. So now we've come to a point where we know when to say no to our children. We know the sort of things we should be drawing, where we should be having a boundary, where we should be drawing a line. Now we need to communicate this boundary to our toddlers, because obviously it's not sufficient that we know we don't want you to jump on Granny's couch. We need you to know that we don't want you to jump on Granny's couch. We don't want you to do it today or tomorrow or next week or next month. So I've got a couple of guidelines just in terms of how we speak to our toddlers. The first thing is to watch your vocabulary. Use simple words, so words that your toddler understands. Get down to their level. We know we need to talk to our toddlers on their level, not from up here, but come down to their level, make eye contact, physical contact, hold their little hands, whatever. And use short sentences. Use your mother tongue, so use proper sentences in your mother tongue, and state what you need, state what you want very clearly. It is not okay to jump on Granny's couch because your feet are dirty. It is not okay to jump on the trampoline with a lollipop in your mouth because you will choke. The reason that we use these this type of language and this way of communicating with our children is that the simple sentences are not confusing. So we don't want to confuse our child. We want them to understand very quickly that they may not jump on Granny's couch, they may not run in the road, whatever the story is. Children can understand what is requested. There's a better chance of compliance because the child understands what is requested, and at the end of the day, children want to comply. Children want to be, they bask and they enjoy receiving the positive feedback that we are giving them. There's less room for misunderstanding. And when you use simple sentences, there's no judgment in your sentence. When I say, you are naughty because you jump on Granny's couch, immediately I'm judging the child. I need to use a simple sentence, state what I want without judgment. So I can't say, it is naughty to jump on the trampoline with a lollipop. Can't you think for yourself that jumping on the trampoline with a lollipop is a bad idea? We want short, simple sentences that purely communicate what we want done and a very brief explanation of why. It does definitely improve compliance from that respect. So one final thing in terms of talking to your child and how you communicate your requirements or your boundary is, please, moms and dads, whoever's watching, don't bring your own emotions into your requests for compliance and your requests from your children to respect your boundaries. I've heard moms say things like, it makes mommy sad when you put your fingers in the plug. No, it doesn't make mommy sad when you put your fingers in the plug. You may not put your fingers in the plug because that is a dangerous thing to do and you will be electrocuted. Whatever you do, try not to include your emotions in the instruction that you've given to your child. It's unfair to expect your 2-year-old to be able to comprehend mommy's sadness. But to be able to comprehend this is dangerous, that is a much, much easier thing for them to do. So just a quick recap. It's okay to say no. Once you've said no, stick with your no. Don't use no too often. Do use no when it's dangerous or inconsiderate to other people. And talk to your children in simple sentences that they'll understand so that your chances of understanding and compliance are so much better. Having a toddler is amazing. It's a very fun age. They are learning all the time. It's exciting. Everything is new. Their language is developing at a pace. Enjoy them. With a couple of tweaks, they can become, they are amazing little beings. But with a couple of tweaks in your interactions with them, there can be a lot more peace in your world. So have fun with your toddler and let me know if you have any questions.